What else do you have, Steve?
You know what? Let me jump ahead to one that Todd has so I could get a gong in here real quick.
Okay.
Todd is very upset about this. Well, maybe not quite very upset, but it's his lead story for sure. Making no attempt to avoid getting hit by a pitch to ruin an opponent's perfect game is ...
Yeah. Gage Wood, nice name. Arkansas pitcher threw a no-hitter, missed out on a perfect game as he hit a batter. And then Fritzy was all upset that the batter didn't get out of the way. I thought one batter didn't get out of the way, but they called him out. But the other one just got hit by the pitch, Todd.
Yeah, but in the eighth inning, the one that lost the perfect game was the hit by pitch of the foot. And the guy kind of just stood there like a statue. And I know the ball dipped and it kind of curved and maybe he didn't see it coming. And I guess you want to get on base any way you can. It's the World Series and all that. But I've seen people get out of the way all the time. I had a problem that he didn't make any effort to move his foot a little bit. That's the way you're going to get on base and ruin some guy's perfect
Paul.
game.
So the Murray State Racers batter, who is in an elimination game in a College World Series that his team has never been to before, in the eighth inning should not do everything he can to get on base.
I would think in a situation like that, it would be almost instinctual. If a ball's coming at you, I know it's not coming at his head or anything, but if your ball looks like it's about to hit you, instinctually you kind of dance out of the way a little bit. He just stayed perfectly still, watching the ball hit his foot, and he was perfectly happy to ruin his perfect game and take his base.
Okay, all right.
I didn't love.
I know. Of all the things that happened, Ohtani took the mound last night. You got hockey tonight.
He pitched
JJ
one inning.
Spawn is going to be on the show. OKC on the verge of winning a title for the first time. Todd's like, I can't believe. Did you see that hitter? He didn't even get out of the way.
If Ohtani went 5 innings and struck out 12 and gave up one hit, and then I'd be like, wow, Ohtani.
The things that bother you. Yes, Paul.
This is starting to bother me. This is the last situation where you should help out a pitcher in a perfect game. This is the opposite of a regular season game where you wouldn't do anything to get on base during a perfect game.
I'm just thinking, like, of all the unwritten rules in baseball, that to me would be in that group. Standing perfectly still as a ball, which was not thrown particularly hard, dips into your toe, and you're like, oh, man, there goes the perfect game.
Well, it was a wild curveball, though. Maybe the hitter was fooled a little bit.
Looked like he had ample time to move his foot out of the way. That's all I'm saying. I'm one person. I'm not saying everyone should feel that way.
I know you're one person. But you speak for like 15.
I'm saying I was personally bothered by it. That doesn't mean I'm not trying to convince everyone else that that's the wrong thing to do.
I know, but
it was weak. It was weak. It was Bush League, and that's the story.
I had no problem with it. Whatever. I remember Johnny Bench tried to bunt in the 7th inning of game against Kenny Holtzman of the Cubs, and Holtzman threw a no-hitter. And I remember I was with guys, and they were like, that's so cheap to try. I go, what are you talking about? Wait, I'm supposed to just go up there and swing and help you out here?
But didn't someone try to bunt off Nolan Ryan to ruin his no-hitter? And Nolan Ryan let him know what he thought about that.
Yeah. Okay, but that's a regular season game. This is the College World Series, Todd. The elimination game for Murray State. Anything it takes, Todd.
They all applaud for him in the dugout. Good job. Nice to keep your foot in there.
Yes, Eaton.
Rally monkey.
Well, I think part of the problem is that when you play baseball, you have to stay in the batter's box. You have to stay in on a pitch, right?
Well,
if you start getting out of the way every time there's a breaking ball coming towards you, the chances of you're going to strike out way more than you get hit by a pitch.
But you can dance out of the way of a pitch that's inside.
You can.
Yeah. I mean, guys get out of the way of, pitches that get away from pitchers.
They do, but...
Do you think it was Bush League what happened where
Hell no.
Okay. Marvin, do you think it was Bush League that the batter, stayed in there to get on base?
No.
Okay.
I give him way more credit. You ever got hit by a baseball? Especially in your foot? It hurts. It hurts like hell. It kills.
Yes, Todd.
The pitcher should be more mad at himself. And I know I only pitched baseball Little League, so I'm not making any comparison other than to say if I was in that position, I'd first be mad at myself that I'd let it get that close to a batter. But right behind that, I'd be like, dude, man, I wouldn't approach the batter, but in my head, I'd be like, can't believe he couldn't move his foot a couple inches out of the way.
You're going to get on base getting hit by a pitch or you're going to strike out.
To me, it's not that black and white. It would depend on the situation.
No, the situation is
Is it an important game? Is it just a regular season game? Is it a World Series game?
I think
yesterday's situation.
Okay, instinctually, I would have tried to get out of the way. If I see the ball curving towards my foot, instinctually, without even thinking about perfect games or Bush League or what, I would always look to get out of the way of getting hit by a pitch. That would just be an instinct.
But you could get on base.
I understand what you're saying, but it's also like
It's elimination.
this
game.
guy's dominating us. The only way we can
It's
get a base
College
is if I
World
stay
Series.
perfectly still and let this ball hit my
That
foot.
is true.
Weak.
That is true. Yes, Paul.
In the following inning, Wood hit a batsman, and the batter dipped his elbow. At least the umpires called him for dipping his elbow into the pitch. That's an example, according to the umpires, of a guy not getting out of the way so much that he went into the pitch, and they called him out because of it.
The umpire missed one. He should have said, "Dude, you could have moved your foot out of the way."
He
You're out.
leaned into that.
That guy should have been out too with his foot.
All
sitting
right.
there.
We accomplished absolutely nothing right there. But Todd has set the tone once again, starting the show.